back in 2008, when director Brian Bertino dropped his psychological horror film The Strangers, it instantly became a sleeper hit in the theaters. Though the initial response to the film was debatable, the film garnered a better response from audiences over the years. It has turned into a cult movie for its highly effective suspense and eerie atmosphere, and for bringing back the 80s charm of slasher movies for modern audiences. Although the makers failed to recreate the similar movie magic with a sequel called The Strangers Prey at Night in 2018, Lionsgate acquired the rights to the movie to produce a trilogy, The Strangers Chapter 1, 2, and 3, based on the first movie itself, directed by Renny Harlin, who famously directed Die Hard 2 and Deep Blue Sea. Now that the movie is out, let's dig deep into the plot of The Strangers Chapter 1 and see if this new movie meets your expectations. But before we go into the video, please like and subscribe to our channel for daily entertainment. Come on now. A Night of Terrors. Unlike the original film, where we saw a troubled married couple, Chapter 1 of the franchise begins with an energetic and romantic couple, Maya and Ryan, out on a road trip across the country to celebrate their 5th anniversary. But while passing through a small town with a bunch of unwelcoming crowds, their car breaks down, and they unwillingly have to rent an Airbnb deep in the woods. Though Ryan is initially suspicious of the people around him, Maya calms him down, and they move into the Airbnb for the night. But before moving into the Airbnb, Maya and Ryan had noticed a missing person on the wall of a diner in the town, who, according to the waitress, went missing a few days before they arrived in the city. The cabin immediately grabs Maya's attention, who thinks of it as a better replacement for the hotel they booked for the night, because of its presence deep in the woods, completely different from her usual lifestyle. At night, after a couple of drinks, Maya and Ryan discuss their relationship status and a possible marriage in the future, and they start kissing passionately after Maya tells him she might agree to his proposal. But before they could start the act of lovemaking, they heard someone banging on the door. When they hesitantly open the door, they find a girl in front of them asking for Tamara. Maya politely tells her that she is knocking on the wrong door and shuts the door behind her. After some time, Maya sends Ryan off to the nearby diner to get some food for them. While Maya is alone at the cabin, waiting for Ryan, she hears the same banging on the door, with the girl asking for Tamara all over again. But while she talks to the girl, we see a shadow of a man inside the cabin watching over Maya. Ryan, on the other hand, takes a bike and drives off to the town. He takes his inhaler from the car and cheeseburgers from a local burger joint. He also meets a bunch of locals who ask him to join them, but he refuses and leaves for the cabin. Back in the cabin, a bored Maya starts playing the piano, waiting for Ryan's arrival, and that's where she gets to see the first glimpse of the masked man's reflection in a mirror. Right after Maya finishes her bath, the power suddenly breaks down from the entire cabin. On her way to find the fuse box, Maya sees a cryptic masked fellow in front of her. She runs out from the masked fellow and hides inside a cabinet. Suddenly, she hears footsteps coming directly towards the cabinet and the door, with Ryan standing there with a bag of food. Ryan turns on the lights back, tries to calm her down, and asks her to eat the food. But while they eat their cheeseburgers, they notice drops of blood falling off the chandelier on the table. When they look up, they find a decapitated bird hanging from the chandelier. Seeing this, they instantly try to lock the doors, but this time, instead of the banging noise, they see a masked man chipping down the main door with an axe. Both Ryan and Maya run towards the bedroom and lock themselves inside, but the masked man hunts them down and butchers the bedroom door, but surprisingly leaves them untouched. When they try to escape from the cabin, they find the masked man and 2 other girls, who are also wearing masks, setting fire in front of the cabin. Failed to escape, they again took shelter inside a house cabinet. While searching for another way for their escape, Maya finds a secret passage under the cabin. Both of them crawl through the passage safely and take shelter in a warehouse down the road, but Ryan drops off his inhaler on their way. Ryan and Maya have no idea what they're about to witness inside because the killers are already present inside. They pick up an axe, and Ryan goes out searching for another weapon. While Ryan's away, the masked man attacks Maya from the window, but he comes back with a shotgun and fires a shot at the killer. After that, Ryan misfires a shot at the owner of the cabin, Joe, who had come to help them with the out-of-order fridge. They pick up Joe's car keys and try to leave the place, but are intervened by the killer with another car. Ryan's leg gets stuck inside the car, so he begs Maya to leave without without him. Maya gets deep into the woods and hides under many dry branches. She then tries to call the police, but fails to draw attention due to network failure. Eventually, the killers capture both Ryan and Maya and bring them inside the cabin to tie them up and torture them to death. When a disturbed and confused Maya asks them why they're doing this to them, the girl in the porcelain mask tells her because they're here, and the killers stab both of them and leave them bleeding to death. Who are these masked killers? The three intriguing masked killers, whose identity remains a mystery in this movie, are fascinating to witness on the screen, not just because they're hiding their faces to cover up their true identities to perform such gruesome murders, but they're uniquely attractive on their own because they're enigmatic, crazy, with a dark sense of humor, of course, and with zero motive to kill their prey, other than fulfilling their sadistic behaviors. In the original films, the masked killers tend to reveal their faces at the end of the movie, while they stab their tied-up victims before their deaths. The new cinema refrains from doing so because they have two other lineups on the way, where they might reveal the killers. But who are these three sadistic guys who love to tear apart strangers? Let me know. Man in the Mask. In every slasher movie, the killer is a big, strong, Caucasian man in a weird face mask. Remember Michael Myers and Jason? Similarly, in this series, the leading killer is this strong man who hides under a cloth bag over his head, with zero personality or dialogue, also known as sackhead or baghead. He sees through the holes cut out on the sack. He has a cold, menacing, and frightening personality because he is unpredictable and might appear out of nowhere with an axe, which can chop your bones like a tiny, dry twig. His presence, both the originals and the reboot, on the screen creates an eerie atmosphere to amplify his silence, which is a far superior threat at a time when his victims can never expect what to come from him at every step.
Is Tamara here?
No.
I think you have the wrong home.
Dollface. As the name suggests, Dollface is one of the primary antagonists in the series. She's always the first to contact the homeowners, and she disrupts their private lives by asking them for Tamara. When you deny her, she will meet up with her friends in the woods and attack them to fill their sadistic urges. She's known for covering her face with a vintage doll mask resembling the strawberry shortcake. She always dresses up in jeans and purple tops with jackets and a knife, which she uses on her victims to stab them to death. She is a menace, and she loves to tease her victims and play with them, using her dark sense of humor before killing them off. Pinup Girl. Last but not the least, Pinup Girl is the third killer, who might look innocent and unharmful because of her sweet emo girl mask and tiny structure. She is an incarnation of evil who, like her friend Dollface, loves playing games with her victims. Her sadistic nature and weird silence creates an eerie and unsettling presence. She's as unpredictable as her friends and might appear from out of nowhere to stab her victims, though in Chapter 1 of the reboot series, she doesn't play any significant role as of now. In the end, she answers Maya's question about their motives behind them, to which she bluntly replies, because they were there. The good and bad aspects. The first original movie is a beloved cult, remembered for reintroducing the legacy of slasher hits like Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Scream on the silver screen. The movie became such a sensation because of its use of these new, unhinged, unscared, and creepy sadistic killers under some masks. It also used brilliant cinematography, use of music, a perfect background score, and an eerie atmosphere throughout the movie. Director Brian Bertino successfully creates ambiguity around the masked killers by keeping their faces unraveled till the end of the movie, though the new movie pays a lot of homage to the original. In the climax, Ryan and Maya are tied up on the chairs, and the song The Sprout and the Bean by Joanna Newsom, played by the characters in the original film. This movie lacks the cryptic and spookiness that stops it from becoming a bone-chilling suspense movie. The concept was original in the original movie because the characters were new and untouched, but now we know their moves, how they act, and how their brain might function at times, which makes it more predictable in recent times. Also, the actors lack sympathy in their acting, which stops you from caring about them. In a horror movie, the most essential thing is the feeling we develop as human beings watching a character suffering from the torments of a callous being. The sympathy we fathom from their pain forces us to root for them. Still, in the case of Ryan and Maya, we never profoundly dive into their relationship, their past life before moving into this town, or any similarity that binds an audience with a character. And though it's a slasher movie, there's no blood spill, trauma, or jump scares that the audience roots in a horror movie. What to expect from the upcoming films. But you know, there's still some hope left for the future movies, because they might dive into their personal lives before coming into this town and building a connection with them. At the end of the film, we see Maya, becoming the final girl, walking up in the hospital after getting rescued by the police. But we don't see Ryan anywhere. He may be dead now for good and will never return, but according to Wikipedia, he will be appearing in both of those movies. So it's getting hard to predict if Ryan is dead or if he will get better. But for Maya, we know that her story is not done yet. And yes, about the killers, anyone from that shitty town can be a killer. When Ryan and Maya enter that town, no bird in the city looks happy with their arrival. The mechanic Rudy, who on purpose broke down their car, everyone in the diner, the middle-aged waitress who asked them to get married with boys, the over-helpful young waitress, who we think definitely is the dollface, and the police chief, or the local guys who hate them for being city birds, or even the overtly religious kids, who look too severe for their age, actually. Any of them can be the killers. It is for sure that, like every sadistic killer, these masked killers will be back for Maya's life. This time, she's going to come up with some brilliant plans to win over them.
That's nice.
Marvelous verdict. If you love the original film, this reboot series might fail to entertain you in the cinema. However, there are a few excellent scenes, you might see that in the trailer itself, that you might find interesting. But left alone in those scenes, there is little for young adults. Some good jump scares are there to incorporate with the atmosphere, but if you love some excellent R-rated stuff, you might want to give it a pass for its PG-13 boring stuff. But it will be too early for all the hate towards the film because there are 2 more films on the way, and according to the director, it's just a 4.5-hour movie divided into 3 parts. If you remember the 2021 horror film Fear Street, which was released in a similar fashion, it did a great job and became a beloved film, so we have to wait and watch what comes next. So, are you willing to see The Strangers Chapter 1 in the theaters? Let us know by leaving a comment on our video. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.